Newsfirst, NEWSLINE with Faraz, Shauketaly.
And top of the morning to you. This is NEWSLINE, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Doss Street in Colombo. This morning we are waiting for our guest, who is that firebrand Member of Parliament, Mr. Dinesh Gunawardena. He is unfortunately held up in traffic somewhere. Around the corner is what he says. But in the meantime, we'll take you through some of the news. And of course, the news is virtually the same headline in most of the papers, and that is that the Attorney General has instructed the acting IGP to arrest and charge the Inspector General of Police, who has been sent home on compulsory leave, Pujit Jasundra, and of course the former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando. And the charges will stem, according to the Salon today, over dereliction of duty over the events of the 21st of April. It must be the first time in a very long time indeed that those with responsibility are being actually held accountable in a court of law, and that must be good news for the law as per se. The rest of the stories reported in the Salon today is that 14 fundamental rights FR petitions have been filed challenging the move to resume death by hanging, the death penalty. And another story in the front, making the front pages, is an assault on a MSD officer, and a UNP Member of Parliament's son has been remanded. Another one is that the former AG, Dr. Gamini Vijayasinghe, says that 40 million rupees to maintain a cabinet minister. That's according to the former Auditor General. And as I speak to you, we have the arrival of our guest, Mr. Dinesh Gunawardena. So I'm going to take a break, and we'll be rejoined on the other side of the break by Mr. Dinesh Gunawardena. Stay tuned. After all, this is NEWSLINE.
Politics, good governance, corruption, the role of the judiciary, asking the questions that you want answered.
Face the Nation, Sanuda, Ratri 9:30.
Today, we'll be featuring one of my favorites as well, actually.
Yeah, our legend today is Gloria Estefan.
American pop and country music artist today, isn't it?
I just don't know. Won't you help me?
It's popular even here in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
You play that in a pub. It's, I
Every
mean, it's
band
party
plays
time.
it. Every Sri Lankan band plays it.
That's right.
Legends of Music, Irida, Savase 2:30. Sunrise Melodies, සතියේ සෑම දිනකම උදෑසන 5ට.
And here is the pitch. The 14th edition of the West Asia Baseball Cup 2019 comes to Sri Lanka from the 15th to 20th July 2019 at the Sri Lanka-Japan Friendship Ground in Diagama. Come support the Sri Lankan Fowls as they play for glory against 5 baseball nations. For more information, log on to SriLankaBaseball.lk. Let's play ball.
Destination host, Sri Lanka Tourism. Official media sponsor, Yes 101 and TV1.
TV1 Kids.
Be a secret society.
We're not going anywhere with you.
Brazil?
You arrived in time for Carnival.
I am an American citizen!
Morning Kids movies on weekends on TV1. Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.
And welcome back to Newsline. This morning our guest is Mr. Dinesh Gunawardena. He needs really no introduction. He's right here with us. Mr. Dinesh Gunawardena, very good morning to you.
Morning to you, Faraz.
And really do appreciate your presence as always. Mr. Dinesh Gunawardena, elections are around the corner. God knows what they are. Provincial councils, presidential, parliamentary, I don't know. But elections are around the corner. So what are the issues that the group that you are with considers important? What are the issues that you all will drive your campaign with?
Yeah, Faraz, good question. Elections are around the corner. Some of it have been around the corner for years.
Yeah.
Provincial councils, nearly 2 years. No provincial council elections. Total responsibility lies in the government. Deliberate attempt to deprive the people of their democratic franchise and violation of the constitution by not holding provincial elections. Abuse of power of provincial council funds through the governors is what they have delivered. No elections yet, only promises. Secondly, there is the 2 other elections, parliamentary elections within the next few months, and the most important, presidential election constitutionally, only 100 days to go for nominations. So the issues are the total collapse of a government who called themselves the strongest government. Total collapse all round. Security of the people, sovereignty and independence under threat, day-to-day life, economic activity, starting from the big business right down the line to the average man, unable to find the next day's confidence.
Now,
Economic growth has collapsed. So what more? A new government. This is the issue that people are discussing. Nothing. Send them home. Send them home, the people who have failed.
on the basis of economic mismanagement? What is
Economic, political, the sovereignty of the country has been at stake.
Yeah.
Security of the people, they are unable to provide today right across the country. And there is no hope or confidence in governance. Day to day we find President saying one thing, Prime Minister saying another thing, and now the third man has come in, cashed in, the Speaker saying another thing, totally different. Where are we? I mean, we are a democracy which has functioned even under difficult circumstances. Where are we today? Total collapse. Look at the Easter Sunday issue. The collapse of it is still on.
The Easter, the attacks of the 21st of April, barbaric as they remain, is, however, you can't really take that and start blaming that, because that happened 4 years after, the 2015 government came into power. More to the point, is it a fair question if I say to you, are we going to return, because of the inaction, inability, fiscal mismanagement of this government, are we faced with the scenario of returning to a a government where there was growing authoritarianism, a government that has huge levels of corruption leveled against it, and spending borrowed money for which the incoming government says that they've been stuck trying to pay it all back. So and also a return to a situation where the minorities felt that they were at risk. Is that what we're looking to?
No, Faraz, you've asked so many questions.
Yes.
If I take one,
Okay.
I mean, this government has been in office for 4 years now.
Okay.
4 years is enough even to revive a paddy field or an irrigation scheme. You need only 90 days to grow anything in this blessed land. They have failed. They have failed. The key sectors are collapsing. Who takes responsibility? The government has to take responsibility. The private sector is crying. Take the other issues, governance, have elections on time, the so-called democracy against authoritarianism. The last government had elections. People could elect local government.
In spite of the authoritarianism.
That is a charge that we level at every government, or no one is promoting authoritarianism. Democracy has to function. No one is going to question about borrowing if borrowings are invested for the future in projects that will benefit the country. Today, total mismanagement. I mean, starting from the central bank, this was the start of the whole debacle of loss of confidence in the country. When the government's big men get caught or accused and they run away without answering, how can a country have confidence in the investors? Will they come? Will the private sector also have investment confidence?
But for all the
growth, I mean, I want to just mention, growth has dropped right to the bottom. The latest is that 2.5 by Moody's is the present 10 days ago what they have predicted. So there is no growth. Without growth, I mean, you and I know how so many situations around the world. You have to infuse the economy in such a situation, not only talk. There is a talk shop today, one accusing the other inside government. So people are fed up. People need a new government can bring confidence to the country that will generate, confidence will generate investment. And a careful...
do you think that confidence will be instilled or encouraged by the return to, even if it's de facto power, the return to power of Mahinda Rajapaksa?
No, there won't be any de facto power. It will be a democratic, people-friendly government that will come. Mahinda Rajapaksa and the last government, they have been accused of various things, of mistakes. We are in the process of correcting and having a new program.
Are you all focused, you and Mahinda's group, the group, when I say you, I mean that. Are you all focused on addressing some of those mistakes?
Yes.
Some of those accusations?
Yeah, we will have better governance, better participation of the private sector.
What about these startling
better relations?
Claims? What about these startling claims, without any basis, that 40,000 people were murdered outside of the rules?
Of course, in a battle, certain amount of people die, but the figures have been totally inflated according to Lord Nesby, the leading personality on these issues in relation to South Asia in the House of Commons, House of Lords. he challenged, he exposed through British confidential papers
Yes, I know,
that
but-
the figure is wrong.
Yes.
So 40 is out.
It's out.
It's out totally.
But how about
it's a
you-
matter of few thousands, which has to be accounted for.
Yeah, because the Red
that
Cross
we
have a
accept.
report, but you all have never even looked at it.
We have looked at all the reports, and all these inflated figures were brought in order to achieve one end, that is to send Mahinda Rajapaksa government home. What has happened since
So
then?
in an
The
incoming government, you will address these issues. Is
we
that
will.
what you're
We
saying?
will continue. There is no, it has been stated by
And what about
President
this
Rajapaksa.
housing? What about housing for the people? Housing not only in the former conflict areas, but housing throughout the island. I believe that we need around 137,000 homes, including some still wanting from the tsunami. So what is government doing? What are you all going to do
No,
about it?
so Tsunami had a program of restoration, returning to better living conditions, which went through according to a plan. You know, not only housing, related water, electricity, schooling, all that. It was a very well planned, I know. I was
But what about-
I was under CBK,
Yes.
involved in that.
But what? Some people still don't have houses.
Yeah, some people don't have, not because of the failure of the program. Some areas there are other conflicts, local conflicts, which are not the overall plan.
This government came in, they said 65,000 houses are going to be built. They may have been steel, plastic, God knows what else. But they haven't built any houses. Mr. Premadas is struggling with his program. But the people in the north, the former conflict areas, the people who were given 24 hours to leave by the LTT, namely the Muslim community who ended up in Putlam, they're all waiting for houses. The Muslim people waiting for over 30 years, and this is not some forum to push them up, but I'm just mentioning the facts.
I agree. I mean, when they were pushed out and when they were given orders to leave within 24 hours, irrespective of political differences, when M.H. Mohammed, the former speaker, called us to Mumtaz Mahal, from the opposition I went.
That was a long time ago.
Long
Mumtaz
time, I
Mahal.
remember.
Mumtaz Mahal.
Yeah, that is
Goodness
up
me.
from that day. The issue got dragged because ending of the war had to be completed, a victorious victory for the government, defeat for the terrorists. But now, Mr. Faraz, I have heard and I have participated in the debates in Parliament. They are fighting over the who should be given this housing to program. The issue is not building. Who gets the award?
You mean the
tender.
construction, the tender.
Yeah, it's
That's-
openly in the House of Parliament.
So that's what it is.
That is what it is. So who's suffering? The people. Where goes the promises? Promises are not met, and the people have to wait. They're fighting over how housing can be completed to the displaced in the north, but by which company? It's a deal. Deal and a deal. Accused by the TNA. I mean, if we accuse, they will say, you're accusing the whole time. TNA gets up and says, it's a deal, and the government gets up and says, this model is better, this architecture is better. Who's suffering? The people of the north. During our time, we restored all the infrastructure. We restored the schools. We restored the hospitals. So, and we started the housing program. But where are we today? Sad story for the TNA, who thought the miracle will be performed by a government that is failing to even to meet together and disperse.
A professor at the law unit at the Jaffna University, I heard him give an interview in which he said that the changes done by this government is, in terms of the north, he said it's just a show. He said it's only paint job from the top. Do you agree?
Totally, I would agree. I met so many from the north.
But what about y'all? What did y'all do?
We started all this program. That's why I said the infrastructure was restored. Everyone was given the chance to send their children to school, hospital, and the administration. Local government elections were held.
I have a
Provincial elections were held in the north.
Yes.
What is happening today? I mean, the northern people agitated and got the 13th Amendment. Provincial Council. President Jayawardena would never have given provincial councils to these areas if not for the solution for the north. Today, the provincial council election not been held, not been asked, not been demanded by their representatives. Sad story.
As you know, we encourage questions on our program by SMS 0772 300 305. We've had several questions. One of them is, and I'm going to read them out to you, read this one out to you. Mr. Gunawardena, what do you mean by mistakes when the Rajapaksas and their cronies have embezzled billions of rupees and murdered journalists? What do you mean by they are going to correct those mistakes? Are they going to return all the robbed money?
That is before the law. The law should look after around all these things that have been accused. You know, people accuse, and people have been accusing for so many years. So it's a matter for the law. Central bank issue. After long agitation, now the new AG has started the process of indictment.
Right.
So all these issues can be dealt, I feel, has to be dealt according to the law of the land. Law and order is the key thing that we must respect. You can accuse and debate, all these things has happened in the floor of the house. Journalists have been taken, you know, journalists will write what they think is correct, which we appreciate. And you all have been threatened today. New legislation, regulations have been dropped.
Actually, whilst you're on the subject, I want to make this point. During the 19th Amendment, and I'm sort of sad in a way to say this and to bring it up, but it was our organization, the Capital Maharaja Group Media Stable, if you like, News First, that we went and petitioned the Supreme Court, and they held with our argument. And today, all media institutions are using that. But I'm sad to say that it was just us who were forced, because of the wrong, the patent wrong, that it was only us who did it. And so I'm glad that you're mentioning this thing about the media. Certainly there is this, within this so-called openness, there are serious attempts to muzzle the media.
Right now, correct.
And I hope that you will be opposing these things. There's another question here.
Now, just to mention on what you said,
Yeah.
I was listening to a counsel in the Supreme Court
Yeah.
when he made the submissions.
Yeah.
And our counsel, who was appearing for my petition, was also taking up the same issue along with soon after him. So others also should have gone to court.
Yeah.
Otherwise, 19th Amendment would have crushed everyone. So it's a good, I mean, the initiative taken by the organization and the lawyers' submissions moved the bench.
We do have a panel of eminent lawyers whom we consult, if not on a daily basis, on a regular basis, on all matters, so that we don't. Now here's another question. He's the son of a great freedom fighter. I presume he's talking about you, or her, or she, anyway. Ask him why he is not contesting in the coming presidential election. More so, he is an ex-royalist, etc., etc. Well, I was going to ask you the same question, because we see that you are traveling the length and breadth of the country. You're going here, you're going there. It seems to me that you are actually a candidate in the making, are you?
Well, I'm senior enough, experienced enough to run for any office.
Yeah.
So I'm always available.
Does
the
that
people-
mean you haven't been asked?
No, I mean, we will decide in the next few weeks how we are going to tackle the presidential election, plus the program and the candidature. So there is no big hurry for any new excitement. Let it come. You all know the last excitement came in just 90 days. When
Yes,
2015 the election.
Will you be the candidate?
In the next few weeks,
On the 11th of August?
or even before, it can be announced. I mean, let's see. We are in the process of discussing the key issues as well as the election. And
What would you, in your opinion, what would be the first main thrust of your campaign?
we have to restore, I have started, the law and order, confidence to the people so that the economy picks up, and protect our sovereignty so that all our citizens will have the confidence of a better future. Today they are lost hope. People are leaving the country, sorry. Educated are leaving, whoever can, packing up and leaving. This is not what we wanted. This is not what was promised in 2015. The mistake was, if I may, of bringing a royalist as Prime Minister who had only 45 members of Parliament.
That was the mistake.
That was the beginning of the violation of the Constitution. Can you? When we had a Prime Minister who had 152,
But at the time, the Speaker was Mr. Chamal Rajapaksa.
Yeah, even the Speaker, I think, should have taken up the issue. Whether Chamal Rajapaksa or Karu Jayasuriya or whoever it is, the Speaker all should have taken the issue.
Now, if these issues are so pressing and so impacting upon the people of our country, why the secrecy on the next candidate? Why not be open and say, listen, I don't know about all the others, but our candidate is X.
Yeah, there are so many
Our
politics.
candidate is Dinesh Gunawardene.
Our candidate will be there, and we will win the presidential. And
Why?
we are so many political parties together, plus other organizations that are in the process of discussions outside the political, recognized political groups. So the process takes a long time. It's not like just the UNP deciding who it is. Is the UNP decided? No.
You don't want to know about them. I'm asking you because you represent
They are on the way out.
your group.
You agree that they are on the way out. So they don't have to decide on whoever the candidate is.
Well, you know, Dinesh Gunawardene, it's marvelous talking to you always, of course. And you'll be on the radio shortly on Talk of the Town on Yes FM. But honestly, can I just try one more time?
Yes.
Are you the next candidate?
Faraz, very clearly I said, I'm senior enough and been in Parliament for such a long time, in politics for such a long time. I'm also available as a candidate.
Are you telling me that, or are you telling Mahinda Rajapaksa that?
I'm telling the
Are you
country.
telling
I'm
Mahinda
telling the
Rajapaksa?
country because you're asking me in
Yes.
front of the country.
But are you telling that, is that message in a bottle to Mahinda Rajapaksa?
I mean, all know so many candidates are trying to get docked in.
But the
But
last,
it
the
will
last
be a
fellow who said that suddenly found that he's not the organizer anymore. so Mr. Welcome has made a either he's made a boo-boo or he doesn't care.
No, that is, I mean, it's a local issue of a party.
Okay. Has he just been, just you know, are they doing that to him?
He's been senior enough in Parliament to know how to tackle issues. Welcome, he's not a
He's
newcomer.
probably got more time now because he's probably driving his Aston Martin around very happy.
Yeah, he loves to drive that. Very good man, I must say. Very senior.
Good candidate?
Senior parliamentarian. I don't know about the candidates. I don't want to discuss about any other candidate.
Well, I've tried. Dinesh Gurwardena, thank you ever so much. It's a pity that you've the time's up and then I have to let you go, because I could quite gladly have you here for hours talking politics with you. Dinesh Gurwardena, thank you very much. You've been part and parcel of our political fabric, and long may it continue, and very good luck with whatever you do, candidate or no candidate.
Thank you.
That's the way it was on Newsline. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a wonderful, productive week ahead of you. God bless.
News First, Newsline.